I mistakenly broke my husband's ficus pot. What I found inside made my blood run cold. The sound of shattering ceramic echoed through the living room like a gunshot. I froze, broom in hand, staring at the ficus plant lying on its side, soil spilling across the hardwood floor. My husband loved that plant. He fussed over it more than anything else in the house. Every morning, he would water it with precision, tilt it toward the sunlight, even wipe its broad leaves with a soft cloth. I had always teased him for caring more about that ficus than he did about our anniversary. Now, with its pot broken at my clumsy hand, I braced myself for his irritation. But then, as I stooped to sweep up the soil, something strange caught my eye. Buried beneath the roots, wrapped tightly in plastic, was a dark bundle. At first, I thought maybe it was fertilizer or some kind of gardening trick. But when I pulled it free and unwrapped it, my stomach dropped. Inside was a stack of documents, passports, IDs, bank statements, none of which bore my husband's real name. And tucked in between the papers was a small, cold revolver. My breath hitched. My hands trembled so badly the gun nearly slipped. What was this? Who was the man I was married to? I shoved the bundle back into the soil as if covering a corpse, my heart hammering in my chest. For years, I had trusted him, believed in our life together, our marriage, our shared future. But in that moment, standing over that broken pot, I realized I might not know him at all. When he came home that evening, his smile was as casual as ever, his tone warm. He kissed me on the cheek, asking about dinner. But all I could see was that bundle. My voice shook as I asked him about the ficus, about whether he kept anything inside. For a split second, his eyes darted toward the plant, then back to me. And in that flicker, my blood ran cold again. He knew exactly what I was talking about. Instead of confessing, he grew defensive, angry even. You always snoop, he snapped. Why can't you leave things alone? The man who usually handled every disagreement with calmness now had fire in his voice, and that frightened me more than the gun itself. That night, I lay awake beside him, staring into the dark, replaying every moment of our marriage. The late-night phone calls he dismissed as work. The sudden trips he claimed were urgent business. The way he never let me near his briefcase. My mind spiraled. Was he living a double life? Was I married to a criminal, a liar, or worse? The next morning, when he left for work, I dug the bundle back out and took it to the police. I was terrified, ashamed, but also desperate for answers. They listened carefully, their expressions tightening as they examined the papers. Finally, an officer looked up at me with a grave face. "Ma'am," he said quietly, "your husband is under investigation. We've been tracking him for months. He's tied to illegal accounts and potentially dangerous activities. What you found may be critical evidence." I felt the floor tilt beneath me. The life I thought I had, the safe home, the loving partner, was crumbling. And yet, some small part of me felt relieved. At least now I knew the truth. For weeks, I lived in a nightmare. The police instructed me to act normal, to pretend I knew nothing, while they gathered more evidence. Every meal I cooked, every smile I faked, every kiss on the cheek was agony. I felt like I was sleeping beside a stranger, or maybe a monster. Finally, the day came when the police showed up at our door with a warrant. My husband's face when they handcuffed him is burned into my memory, shock, betrayal, and rage all twisted together. He shouted my name, cursed me, told me I had ruined his life. And maybe I had, but he had already ruined mine long before. In the months that followed, I had to rebuild from the ground up. Friends whispered, neighbors stared, my trust in people was shattered, my faith in love bruised. But I also discovered something I hadn't known before, strength. I found a job, leaned on the few friends who stayed, and slowly created a life that was mine alone, not built on lies, not shadowed by fear. The ficus never grew back. I replaced it with a small vase of fresh flowers that I bought every week. They reminded me that beauty doesn't have to last forever to be real, and sometimes breaking what you thought was perfect is the only way to uncover the truth. Looking back, that broken pot was the moment everything changed. It was the end of one life, yes, but it was also the beginning of another, one where I chose honesty, safety, and self-respect over illusion. So here's the lesson I carry with me, the one I want anyone listening to remember. Sometimes the things we break reveal the truths we most need to see. And when the truth makes your blood run cold, you still have a choice: stay trapped in fear, or step into the strength you never knew you had.